Hello, welcome back to Spilling Tequila. I'm your host, Ariana Cantor, and we're going to spill some tea, baby. Not much has changed since the last time we saw each other. About a week ago, it's still fucking freezing, and I'm still pissed about it. I did get Botox, which makes me a happy girl. Although I have to say, trends are like crazy because I think trends are like a mental thing, which I mean makes sense, but I'm gonna elaborate on what I mean. So Botox has been booming for years now, and now the trend is get Botox that makes it look like you don't get Botox. But I go in there and I'm like, freeze my motherfucking forehead. Let's go. I don't want a wrinkle. See no wrinkles. Hear no wrinkles. Have no wrinkles. And everyone's like, well, I'm going to do just a little. I still want my forehead moving. And that's fine. I'm not judging it. But people are looking at me like frozen is out. Moving foreheads are in. How about we're all getting Botox and we all have our own preference? So yeah, I'm not trendy when it comes to Botox. I want my wrinkles gone. I do it because it's what I want, not because the forehead should or shouldn't be moving. Needed to just rant that one out. Also, I got some backlash on my prior episode about not being every girl's girl, and it's because I've been burned by girls. You can go back and watch the episode if that's something that intrigues you. But I got backlash saying that maybe I was the problem, and this girl had never had that kind of issue before. That's great. Do you think everyone in life is going through the same thing at the same time? Take what resonates, take what doesn't. I have been the problem, and I've looked within. I've gone to therapy. I do the mental work. I take accountability. But in my scenario, more girls were mean to me than they were nice to me. And it's been a long fucking journey. So that is my truth. And I want it to change for the better. And I also do have great girlfriends. Like, I have incredible girlfriends. I don't have like a girl group of friends. I have people that I've met through all walks of life that I've gone through stuff with. Some are new. No two are the same. And they show me what a great friend is. So I can spot the difference between a good friend and someone that hates you and doesn't even have a reason to. I really think in life, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. It doesn't have to go from one extreme to another. That's why I feel pretty comfortable talking about the things that I discuss on here, because I'm not strict in the sense of I'm saying this and it has to mean that I'm this way. I elaborate because there's so much that goes into my, like, the things that I think about, and there's such a deep level of understanding that this is my opinion and that I'm not right or wrong. It's just an opinion. It's just a thought in my mind that I'm sharing that I really do look into. And the hopes are it resonates with someone and I'm not alone with the way I feel or think, and it shows other people that you're not as well. Which I'm going into another topic that could seem like it's one way only, but I'm going to give a deep level of understanding of what I mean and where I'm coming from when I discuss it. And the topic is, drum motherfucking roll, decentering dating. I see a lot of stuff that says like decentering men, but that's fine. I understand it. But let's do decentering dating, because it's not just men, that women are dating. And I am thinking that, females are the people listening to my podcast. So I just want to say dating in general, because I hear stories of all walks of life. I know that girls have issues with other girls. And I mean, I just made a whole episode about issues with other girls as a friend. So I know there's complications in dating as well, because it's dating as a whole. It's not just men suck, women are difficult. It's not that. It's dating as a whole that we are discussing about decentering. If it is the center of your universe, this may not resonate with someone who's in a happy, healthy relationship, But maybe it resonates in the sense of you agree with what I'm saying. Not that you need advice on it, or it's something that you needed to hear. It's something you agree with. And maybe you don't agree with it, and that's fucking okay. I don't agree with everything. But what do I mean when I say decentering dating? Okay, so this is going to be about dating not being the thing that you are constantly searching for and thinking you need most. Because I've been there, I've done that, and that's another thing. Things that I talk on aren't from a place of judgment. It's from a place of like, been there, done that. And this is what I've learned that helped me better navigate it. I have been the girl that thought if I get into a relationship, my life will be so good. If I find love, my life will be so good. I can start working on myself then. I can figure everything out. I'll finally look presentable to society. I won't feel like a lack in my life if I'm in a relationship. And I've gotten into fucking horrible relationships. I've gotten into better ones in my later 20s, but my earlier 20s, horrible relationships, to the point where I had to go so long without dating to find myself, because what I was looking for was not healthy. I was looking for myself in other people. Didn't find it. Had to find myself on my own, by myself. No dates. I also found that when I was constantly seeking dating, I was seeking finding another person, not really caring who that person was. I was kind of who's going to settle with me, which is settling. And then I would get into these relationships and I would think to myself, what in the motherfuck is going on here? I do not like this person. Once the excitement wears down. And it's kind of difficult to think that like one day you just meet someone and all you need is energy. And that's how you know you're in love. Like, I don't doubt that, because I do believe heavily in energy. But I think there's a few more things that need to go into it. Like, do you both feel the same way? Are your futures aligned with what you want? Do you have the same views on certain things? You don't need to have the same views on everything. I don't know. It's really important to figure out what you want prior and then look for that versus just dating and that ultimate energy. And I want a great love. Like, I want life to continue to be exciting and have something so like great and fulfilling. But I don't think it's as simple as just wanting and needing that. Or as simple as being in a relationship to look good to society. That's where you really get screwed over. I realized that when I was just seeking a relationships, wherever I could find it, I was not focusing on myself. I was focusing on just finding a partner. And that's so much life and time and energy wasted. And I feel that you think you're going to get into a relationship and it's a safety net. And it should be that. Like, your relationship should make you feel safe and secure, but all of your relationships in your life should make you feel that way. But I mean, just getting into one isn't going to fulfill that need. You actually might be in a situation, which I have been in the past, where you're the furthest thing from safe, but you're in a relationship. And I think something that's important is, let's stop making the title of like a romantic relationship the most important thing for us to have. I know it's one of the best experiences you can have in life. And anyone who's in a great relationship, you're so fortunate. And I hope that it's so special. It better be so special. Otherwise, you need to take some advice on this episode. But I think the relationship with ourselves is the most important thing, so that we can unlock all of these other keys of happiness. The thought of being alone is scary, but being alone isn't scary. And I feel like life is kind of ass backwards in a lot of ways like that. We're always so fearful of the fear, and the act in itself like is never as bad. And I mean, there is an issue with caring about how people perceive us. I think society's done a great job at that. Like, you have to meet your person in the 20s. You got to get married then. You have to have a baby. And like, it's great, 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 great if that does happen and you're truly happy. But if it doesn't, your clock is still ticking, and do not settle. Another thing is that when you're constantly just seeking a relationship to have your unmet needs met, you're living in a state of lack. And when you're lacking something, you're not the best version of yourself. If you're sitting there and you're like, I want a relationship, I don't have one. I want money, I don't have any. You're showing up as a less version of yourself. You're showing up as almost kind of like a victim, feel bad for me mindset. And that's not going to be the most attractive thing. If you show up to a dating scenario, any scenario, and your relationship with yourself is so freaking great and you feel fulfilled and anything that comes to you is just going to be a compliment, you're going to be that much more sexy and you're going to attract like that much better of relationships. And no matter what, which I think is the most important part, you're good in or out of a relationship because you have that one within you, and it's golden. It's also when you build on that relationship with yourself before having it with someone else, that is where the magic happens. That is where you figure out what you will and will not tolerate, which is so important. Because a lot of times you can get into a relationship and then you start working on yourself because you feel comfortable, because you're like, oh, society isn't looking at me with like a red alarm signal that I should be looking for a relationship. You start figuring out what you want and you realize this isn't even what you want. And then it's like, fuck, okay, let's do it before. And you still do grow. You can figure out who you are all you want. You get into a relationship and you grow tremendously. That's supposed to happen. You grow in your relationships, but you should be growing already. Also, we can't avoid working on certain things in our life. And if we think that getting into a romantic relationship is going to void the things we need to work on, that's certainly not the case. We have to work on ourselves, work on whatever we need to from whatever has happened to us. And you grow, you evolve, you become a whole different person. The person of you prior to working on yourself probably doesn't want to date the same person as the person who has worked on themselves. Every scenario is different in life, but I think that's a healthier outlook than just assuming you'll get into a relationship and everything in your life is fine. Or the person that you're dating is just going to save you. We make our lives better, and then that's how someone learns how to love us, with the way we love ourselves. It's very deep. I also see on TikTok a lot videos of girls saying, let me help you get him back with these mental techniques. It's like go from ghosting to he's absolutely in love with you, or how to manifest this certain someone to text you and to not stop thinking about you, and all of these things. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I know life is magical, and I know girls have some power. But like, are we really putting spells on the men to want us? Men, a woman, whoever it is that you're dating, to want us. Think about this. Someone doesn't want you. You're taking up all of your time and energy to make them want you, to the point where you're manifesting it and doing some witchy shit. Do you know if you put that energy into yourself, where the fuck you'd be? This is a hot take, but I think the girls that are crazy in relationships and, you know, go after what they want, and they want it so bad that maybe they'll do some witchy shit for it. There's still power there. You're just not putting the power in you. If you directed that power in you, the men will be, whoever you want to be dating will be lined the fuck up. Okay? It will all follow, but put that into a business, put that into a hobby, put that into something that has to do with you, and you will succeed. You can make, if you have the power of making something want you, don't make it another person. Because if someone doesn't want you and you have to trick them into wanting you, how good is that going to feel ultimately? I think you're going to be questioning your self-worth the rest of your life. I think you'll have trust issues. I don't think you're going to be happy, healthy, married, kids, traveling the world. You found your soulmate. I think that we kind of just have to build up our ego to be able to take an L and grow from it and move on and know that what we want is out there. If something doesn't want us, that's probably the best sign for us to know that's not for us. Because they're making it easy by saying they don't want you. You're like, okay, that's not for me. So you don't even have to like trial and error it. And trust me, I have been the girl that has wanted a guy so bad. I have been the girl that has wanted a guy that I haven't even dated so bad. I've been the girl who's wanted a guy that like I talked to for a month so bad, for months after, wondering why he didn't choose me. I would have loved to do some witchy shit then. I would have been up for it. But I've learned from those mistakes and I realize that's not healthy. My ego needs to be able to take a loss. And a lot of times when someone doesn't want you, quote unquote, let's say isn't a match, but you feel like they don't want you, you feel emotions that are like from probably another scenario and other different scenarios, and it just feels so harmful in this scenario because it's so much pressure weighing from these other things you haven't worked on. But at the end of the day, you don't want someone who doesn't want you. And when you work on these things, you're able to understand that. Like, understand not everyone's for everyone. And if you look back in time, I know I can say this confidently for myself. Everything that I thought I wanted 5 years ago, 3 years ago, a year ago, last month, I don't want it anymore. If it didn't work out, I don't want it anymore. But it's hard to see that in the moment. And I think it's okay for us to go through challenges in life. It's okay for us to not get every person we want and not get everything we want. It's never at the end of the world, even though it feels like it. So I think that there's nothing wrong with dating. There's nothing wrong with, wanting to find your person. But I think that it can't be the most important thing on your plate. You shouldn't have the timeline like, I need to get married by this age. I need to have a baby by this age. I need to be settled down. Otherwise, I'm a failure. I think that you just kind of have to roll with the punches, trust where your life is going, and know that in the moments where you're not with the person of your dreams or you're not dating, you can work on yourself and make yourself very happy and like do some really cool shit. Impress yourself with the things you can do and like all the happiness you can have with yourself. And it's just going to make life that much more exciting when you find your person. Focus on your friendships. Girls, focus on your girl friendships, because if you have good girl friendships, treat them with absolute love and care, because that's who, the people that are going to be with you forever. Those are the people that are going to keep it real with you when you start dating someone. If the person's good for you, if the person's not good for you, make sure those relationships are so strong. Life is more beautiful when you can, have people that know you, understand you, and want the best for you. And that's also a rare thing to have. So focus on that. Don't fixate on dating, because then you're going to wind up in this relationship with someone you don't want, still fucking lost, and you don't have anyone to lean on because you didn't care about your friendships. You want to get into a relationship and still maintain your friendships, maintain whatever lifestyle you want, still do your hobbies. You don't want to lose yourself. You adjust to life with everything, with every change, but you don't want to lose yourself. I hope that helped. Dating is important, but it's not the only important thing. And there's fucking more to life. Picture this. We're girls who bring up other women, independent bitches, don't need a other half unless the other half is complementing our lives. And we are building our lives to be everything that we personally want them to be. That sounds a lot better than the alternative of crying over people that don't want you and hating on other females because we're not happy ourselves. There might be one or two things I say that make sense. Okay, I have some questions to answer surrounding dating. Let's get into it. What would make a guy lose interest after a third hookup? What would it Was I bad at it? Not attracted to me? After 8 months of talking, acting all lovey-dovey, after a third hookup, he somehow ghost me after I messaged him. No response to my text. Also, he started acting weird during our hookup. To add, this was a long distance thing. He lives out of my state, so I would fly to see him. That's why we only hooked up 3 times in 8 months. I would like to know how soon it was for your first hookup. Regardless, after 8 months of talking to someone, he sounds like a coward. You can say to someone, maybe this isn't working out. I'm not in a place to be dating right now. Long distance, whatever it is, it's not working out. You deserve a text. I think that you didn't do anything wrong. I don't think you did anything wrong at all. I don't think it's possible to do something wrong with the right person. I mean, I think that he was a coward, and he didn't know how to say it wasn't working for whatever reason that was. And I think it's important to recognize like what red flags you may have missed, but also understand that sometimes this is the process of dating and you're going to be okay. And that loss is actually a motherfucking win, because you don't want someone who would ghost you after 3 times and make you question yourself. But you didn't do anything wrong. Next question. Ghosted a guy. Should I reach out again? A few months ago, I went on 2 dates and they weren't bad at all. This guy was super nice and a gentleman. I just had been through a traumatic event right before I got into dating and going on the date with him. I sort of sabotaged myself because I pretty much ghosted him and added him on all social media because I was definitely not ready for a relationship. Now I'm feeling better and more myself and feel like I want to reach out again, even though it's been a few months. I don't know if that's weird for me to do or if that makes me seem crazy. I just need advice. Okay. I think that that's really incredible that you are able to understand how you self-sabotaged. I just think that's a tricky situation because you don't want to have to do that again. And I don't think you should ever ghost again. Like, you don't want to have to let someone down again. I think it would be refreshing no matter what on your end and on this guy's end if you reached out and kind of explained why you did what you did and let him know that it wasn't him. I think that's very mature to do, and I think it's brave, and also it will be really good for you to like let that out, and also really good for him to hear. But then I think maybe you can go from there. Like, maybe just say like, we can talk here and there as friends and see if it's something that still interests you, because you don't know if it's the guilt that's weighing on you and the potential of this guy because he was a gentleman, and now you're looking back and thinking, oh my God, did I mess everything up? Like, you want to make sure that you're not going to hurt this person and ghost them again. So reach out, say how you feel, take things very slow. And if like you guys talk little bits and a month goes by and you still want to go and like hang out and see what's up, no problem there. And if it's not working this time around, just be ready to express that it's not and move on from it instead of ghosting. I think ghosting is allowed with assholes because, I don't know, I've definitely ghosted assholes. And I've also ghosted nice guys when I was younger, and I've learned the lesson the hard way. Okay. Talking to a single dad, help. I've been texting this guy for like 1 week or so, and things are going good. He's easy to talk to, and he's down to earth, and he's always complimenting me. He said he wants to take me out on a date soon, but I'm super nervous. I've actually never talked to a single dad before. Is it any different than someone who isn't a dad? I don't know how to act. I would appreciate advice. I think no matter what, they're still a person, but it is going to be a little different because they have a kid. Like, there may not be the freedom that you would have with someone else. But I think in the beginning stages of like just getting out there and experimenting and going on a date, there's no harm in that game. Now, if you guys are like 3 to 6 months in and you want to take it to the next level, there's certain things you really have to talk to, understand, and think about. But I think it's harmless. Going out, he could be more nurturing because he has a child, if that's something that you're interested in. So I think there's nothing to be nervous about. You have to figure out what you like and you don't like. So give it a try. Maybe you'll be a stepmama. Maybe he won't be single anymore. And you won't be either. All right. It's a wrap. Let's wrap it up. I will see you same time, same place next week. And we'll spill more tea-quila. Mwah.